no music can capture Emily Miller's greatness, so we didn't even bother to try. Emily Miller of the Washington Times is with us. How are you, Emily?
I'm great. Do you want me to sing a tune instead for
I
my own
mean,
music?
if I don't, next time you're on, if the music fails us, is there a song that I can hum for you?
I don't know. Emily gets. Is there an song with Emily in it? I'm not
I
sure.
don't know. I'll start looking it up.
Okay.
Listen, how's your summer going on? I understand you had a meeting with your new boss today.
Yes, my new boss, the new editorial page editor at the Washington Times, is one David James, former NRA president. So we're so excited. We had a meeting today to discuss, what the paper is going to be in our commentary section, and sort of how we can set an agenda for conservatives in America on a variety of issues and give them direction. And it's just really exciting to have him here as our leader.
Listen, I gotta say, David is always a great guest. He's got just a wonderful mind. I'm one of those guys. He's one of those guys you can just spend hours talking to.
I
Just
mean, and it's I'm so lucky to have him as my boss right now. And my boss now is Washington Times. I mean, he is, like you said, I mean, he's long-term conservative intellect and knows so many issues, knows so many people, and is bringing that all in the pages. And so just to hear him, you can throw any issue at him: immigration, race relations, economics, and he just, he's got every side of the issue he understands and can explain and give you backstory, and it's really exciting. And I think you'll see sort of his handprint on the pages right now, and start seeing the New York Times, the Washington Times' opinion pages.
absolutely. And listen, I got to tell you, I really am enjoying your series, The American Gun Owner, and this piece, a devoted father. I got to say, it was really touching, Emily.
I know. As you said, I've got this new series I'm started writing. We've talked about before, the American Gun Owner. Just sort of put a face of something you do often on Cam and Company, the face of gun ownership in America, to show, the liberal media and the liberal politicians try to make us all seem like we gun owners crazy, unstable
Absolutely.
criminals.
We were talking about this before the show, Emily. Like, not only do they try to portray every gun owner as nuts, but you're only ever just a gun owner. You're never a father. You're never a writer. You're never anything but the gun owner. And they say that guns are evil, so therefore, by default, you're evil.
I know, exactly. And so today's piece is about Scott Oates, and he's the father of 11. He and his wife got married as a Brady Bunch kind of thing, 6 and 4, and then they had 2 together. Or maybe I did the math wrong, but I actually can't keep track of all their kids.
6, 3, and 2 together.
Family. Scott does inspections at a large jet manufacturing company, and they're just this wonderful American family. And he's a former Marine veteran. He's a Marine veteran, and he grew up outside and so he's taught his children safe gun handling from a young age. And they all do hunting, they do target shooting, all kinds of shooting. The Oates family, I've been corresponding with Scott Oates for a couple of years now. Their youngest daughter, Zoe, who's 9, has cystic fibrosis, and I've learned a lot about the disease from him. And it has no cure, unfortunately, at this point. And it's a terrible disease that affects both your breathing, because your body creates this extra mucus, and it gets into your lungs and they get infected, as well as your digestive system, and affects your pancreas. So their youngest daughter, Zoe, was diagnosed at 1, and now she's 9. And the poor child, she spends several times a year, she's in the hospital for weeks on end. She takes 30 pills a day, spends hours a day on this breathing apparatus, and it's such a hard life. And Scott is the most devoted father. Their mother, Jada, spends, whenever she's in the hospital, she's with her 24 hours a day, and they're just this, they put so much into helping this child have the best life that she can, and raising awareness for cystic fibrosis, and raising money for research, because, every day counts so much for this child, and hopefully to find a cure. When she was first diagnosed, Scott moved. They were living near Savannah, where his company is, and they moved to Jacksonville to be closer to the hospital there that specializes in cystic fibrosis. And he is commuting 330 miles each way, round trip every day.
I got to tell you, when I read that, Emily, I've got a hell of a commute myself, but Scott tops me, and to do it every day.
Every day, and his car just, he told me just recently, his Toyota Corolla just broke down after 930,000 miles on it. And he's only, I think, 6 years old. I mean, the man, and it's what's just amazing about him is this, he never says this stuff. I mean, I've gotten it from him little bits and pieces over the years.
Right.
All he wants to do is save his daughter's life and to make his daughter's life easier. And this morning, actually, they had to take Zoe back to the hospital because the infection just still hasn't gone away and she has a collapsed lung. So he was at work yesterday on a Sunday because this morning at 6:30 they took Zoe to the hospital so she can get looked at and try to do something to inflate her lung again. And this is what they do every day for 8 years now. And you know, these are just, this family is just so remarkable, and they're doing so much. They have a blog, which if you go to the Washington Times, our website today, and you look at the story up, it's called The American Gun Owner, a Dedicated Father. Their blog is in there, and you can read more about this family. And they're just trying to raise awareness for the disease, so in order to get research money and try to find a cure. And what is fun is, you know, they're gun owners and big gun owners. I mean, I asked him to try to figure out what guns he owned, and he said he couldn't because there's so many. I mean, he has rifles, shotguns, handguns, and you'll see a picture in my story of him teaching Zoe to shoot a handgun last year. She's shooting a Walther P22.
Nice.
But all that, though, he and his wife and their older children, the grown children, have concealed carry permits and carry guns, and they go hunting and they go target shooting, and it's just part of their family. And you know, I was very disappointed in the story today, and I saw these sort of anti-gun people jumping on the story and leaving really nasty comments about this family.
What were they saying? What on earth were they saying?
Oh, that, you know, this is the picture of Zoe being taught to shoot was one of the most horrible things and what's wrong with America. And, you know, that somehow this is okay and this makes, you know, people deserve to get cystic fibrosis. I mean, sick stuff. And this is where the anti-gun people go when you show, you know, this is what America is. And you've seen my series. I mean, the first story was about a brother who has Down syndrome, and he takes his brother shooting. The boy with Down syndrome doesn't have access to the guns. He's not the gun owner, but it's completely fine and normal, and they know gun responsibility. And, you know, my second story is about a man who lives in Maine, and he used his gun in self-defense to get this family that was trapped in a house with an attacker who cut the phone lines out. And no one got hurt, and he effectively saved these people. And these are the stories that the anti-gun people don't want you to hear, because they think that, you know, the only people who should have guns are the military and the police and not civilians, and that anybody with a gun is evil and horrible. And it's, you know, I got into the comments today because it just is so completely offensive and where they go with this. So I hope other people do too and get on there and, you know, defend the family.
Listen, I had no idea that the comments were that awful.
Well, it happened. This is the third of this series that I started, The American Gun Owner. It's the third time these anti-gun people have gotten on and attacked these people personally. And, you know, the last one I did on Bruce Abbott, you know, he himself got into the comments and defended himself and, you know, said, don't call me this person. You can call me by my name, and this is my name. And so, you know, but in this case, that I'm going to defend this family, and I don't want them to have to read this junk.
Right.
But, you know, this is what these anti-gun people do, is they go and attack good American people because it doesn't help their agenda to see these stories printed. And it's just a sense of the kind of things they do.
Absolutely it is. And, you know, again, you look at you read this story, get an idea, and you understand what Mr. Ose is all about. You understand what drives him. And I would imagine that, you know, Mr. Ose is happy to be a gun owner. He's glad that he has his right to keep and bear arms. He works to protect it. But clearly what drives him is his family.
And protecting his family
absolutely.
And defending his family. And in every way, whether it's taking Zoe to the hospital, whether it's driving 330 miles a day to feed his family so his wife can be in the hospital all day and you know, take care of their family. He never complains. So I don't know. He's a Marine.
I don't understand.
He's never going to complain.
Yeah, so I just don't understand the mind that can read your story, Emily, and then like think, whoa, what an awful dad. Blah, 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 blah. You know, I mean, it's beyond me.
It's beyond me too. It's just they're so angry and they are so visceral against guns that they'll attack people, and they don't look at them as people. They look at them as just, you know, more guns.
Well, and that's why you know that your work is actually doing what it's supposed to be doing, because it's making these people very uncomfortable to consider someone like Mr. Ose as a human being, and good for you for making them uncomfortable.
Right. That's true. I guess that's true.
No,
It bothers me what they do to, I'm profiling these wonderful people, and I developed a relationship with each one of them that I've written about.
right.
And, I was glad to see that Mr. Abbott on the last one, who's, a man defending his home, got on himself to defend himself. But it really bothers me that, I'm putting people in the spotlight and then they get these kinds of comments under it. And, I just think there's something wrong with just all of society when you just think that you can just attack people without using these commenters. Of course, don't use their real names. They're hiding behind these aliases, and they just attack and throw names around and, don't know anything about them. And how would you feel if someone did that to you?
Yeah, well, absolutely. And I will say this: you're describing a phenomenon that goes far beyond just the realm of the gun control debate. The comment section, sadly, at a lot of places have just become awful, awful,
It's true.
awful
It's true.
displays
And,
of humanity.
It's a problem in every newspaper or every website where you have to really decide how much debate you allow in the comments and how low you go. Of course, we have certain standards of cursing or name calling or, really horrible things we don't allow, racist or anti-Semitic, those kinds of comments. But, what happens now is this anonymity, I think, where people think they can say these horrible things. It's like, and what is different in a normal political story, if the attackers want to attack, say, Obama, or say, these people are in this public spotlight. If you want to attack them, that comes with territory. They're professionals. They know what's going on with politicians. But when you write a story about just a regular American family, and, Scott O's emailed me last night as we were talking about this story because I wanted to get some facts straight. And I said, he was like thanking me for writing it. I said, please don't thank me. I said, I'm humbled to know your family and honored to know your family. And he said, we're just a simple mom and dad doing what we can for our kids. These are not people you jump on comments on and attack. That's just unacceptable, I think. So it makes me want to take down the comment section. But, we do have a First Amendment right, and I just wish people would think a little bit more about hiding behind their anonymity and calling people names who've done nothing wrong.
Amen. Emily, good talking to you again. Thank you for coming on the show.
Always fun.